Hi, I'm Dawn.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Mel.
Welcome to the Work It, You Are Worth It podcast.
We are here to discuss awareness, growth, and healthy relationships.
Are you ready?
Good morning, listeners. Ash, Mel, how are you today?
Good morning. I'm wonderful. Hi, Mel. Hi, Don. How are you guys?
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Dawn. I'm doing great today.
Good, good. Everybody had great weeks.
For sure. How about you? How are you today, Don?
I am doing amazing. I put last night on a TikTok. I did TikTok last night about self-care and I took last night and just stayed home and did some, an extra long shower and did all the skincare and self hair care and just relaxed and made myself a nice little. I normally, if I'm going to drink at home, it's going to be, I'm going to just grab a bottle, like I'll have about a glass of wine. I won't do anything special. But last night I made myself, a girlfriend got this recipe when she went to Mexico, for a drink so she brought me back dried hibiscus and pink peppercorns and cardamom, actually the cardamom seeds. And so you take the hibiscus and infuse it in gin, and then pour tonic water in and put the black pepper, like kind of when you grab the peppercorns, just give them a little smash, right? And the same with the cardamom. You just kind of smash it with a fork and put it in, and then it all infuses. So I did that and uh, watched some stupid cheesy show on Netflix, which is great too. So
Nice.
yeah, so just
Sounds
a little
like a good
self-care.
day.
It was a nice little self-care night.
I
So
got to hang out with Cameron yesterday and we went and got our nose pierced and had some really great
I love
conversations.
that.
And it was been a good weekend. How about you, Mel? What were you up to yesterday?
Yesterday, a friend of mine who is Lebanese, they have a festival or something like that this time of year, and it's called Saj, and they make this beautiful bread. It's like a squishy pita. It's so delicious. And there's all these meats and vegetables, and you make these sandwiches with this garlic spread, and everything is homemade. And it's the grandmothers and the great grandmothers that are making the bread, and they have beautiful Arabic music in the background, and there's just so much festivities and dancing and community. It was unbelievable. I had a wonderful time.
Well, it sounds like we have all had a really amazing weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
You
sounds
know
like we
what?
did.
Dawn's night, though, sounds very intentional.
It does.
It did. It did. It sounded extremely intentional.
Sounds
It
like you
was.
spent some very intentional quality time with yourself.
Yes, I did. It was very needed. It was, I don't do it enough, you know? I mean, sometimes I think about like I spend a lot of a time with myself, meaning, right, I'm scrolling on TikToks or I'm scrolling on social media or I'm playing a game with Colin or I'm out with girlfriends. And right, all that stuff is like that is quality time and that is self-care and self-love and but to truly have like a intentional me time, um, to just, we've talked about like just growth and awareness and finding the best version of me and being able to do it from a physical perspective, meaning, right, took care of my skin. I took care of my hair, right? I put quality things in my body, right? I had a drink, but I didn't just let me have some sugary glass of wine, right? Or whatever. I just was more intentional with it and it was nice. It was nice.
Did you
So yeah.
notice, sorry, did you notice a difference between quality time, intentional quality time spent with self, doing recovery work or focused growth work or focused healing versus intentional quality time spent relaxing, taking care of yourself? Did you notice a difference in the way those feel?
Yes and no, right? It's both actually, because both are food for my soul. Both are food for my soul. Both are very important. And so, yes, they felt very similar in that aspect. In where they differ is right is where they're feeding, what they're feeding, right? My when I'm doing intentional recovery work and reading and journaling and all of that, a lot of that also really affects my mind. And it's funny because they both affect my mind, but I feel like it's a different feeling, if that
And
makes
that's why I
sense.
ask. It is like when I think about time that I spend doing self help work, yes, that is intentional quality time spent with myself. Yes, that is important. Yes, that is huge. And if I spend all of my quote unquote free time doing intentional quality time with myself related to self help and self growth, then I feel like for me, I don't open up enough space for peace. It doesn't free up space. Like, yes, it helps me be better. And yes, it helps me grow and I'm a better person, but it doesn't free up the space inside of me to have patience or to deal with
Hmm.
in intense situations.
Yeah, yeah. As I was last night, and I'm going to overshare a little bit here. Right, I was doing the microderm abrasion. I have a little thing to do that on my skin, and I have my girlfriend that travels a lot brought me back some amazing masks from Korea, Japan, China. I can't remember which country these came from. But and right and putting the mask on my hair, like that part for me was very intentional, right? I took the time to feel the blade on my face. I took the time to, as I'm putting on the face mask or my under eye cream, right? I took the time to feel my fingers on my skin. I took the time to feel rubbing in lotion on my skin. I did everything very much, very intentional to really fully appreciate the textures of my skin, the changes in my skin, um, to appreciate my skin. And I think that's right. It goes back to, just talking about intention, right? When I'm doing it with my recovery work and all that, that is very intentional that I'm trying to get something out of it and I'm trying to grow. And the other side of it is that I was being very intentional to appreciate my external for how far it's come and what it's doing and what it will continue to do, and understanding the importance of not only feeding the mental recovery side of me, but feeding that the physical side of me as well. And I think it's really important. So we obviously were going somewhere with all this. It wasn't intentional actually. It was just my night. That's how my night played out, and then Ash just did a great job of tying it in. So what we're going to talk today about, we last week we ran through some different things, and over the next few weeks we're going to be talking about those. Does anybody have that list up?
I've got it open here,
Thank
Dawn.
you. Appreciate
So,
it.
yeah, so the things that we talked about last week was intentional quality time with self, intentional communication with self, learning to listen to self, awareness of how I treat myself, intentional compassion and forgiveness of self. Those were the ones that we talked about last week.
Great. And so in our discussions, we really all believe that kind of the place you have to start with all of this is because, right, you can't jump into the middle of something or at the end of something, right? This is a slow process, and has to be an intentional process of building a relationship with yourself. And after our discussions, we kind of agreed. It's let me start simple, right? In the beginning, it's got to kiss it, got to keep that shit simple. Let's start with quality time and build, have intentional quality time, which is what we kind of been talking about. So I'm going to turn it back to one of you. Can we explain what quality time, intentional quality time is?
Um, Intentional quality time, I think the purpose of it is creating meaningful time to focus on your growth and your well-being and the relationship with yourself.
Right. I think, and I just want to add to that that we have to purposely and intentionally create that time. Very similar to what you were just describing, Dawn. Right. Like not only did you say, okay, I'm going to do self-care and I'm going to take care of my skin, but then you also purposely and intentionally made it about appreciating my skin, appreciating my body. So for me, intentional quality time that I spend with myself specifically, right? I'm not talking about spending quality time with my kids or with my significant
Hmm.
other or my friends. We are very much talking about building a relationship with myself. So, how I spend intentional quality time with myself, um, it is very much like purposely and intentionally dedicating time to reflect, recharge, and nurture my well being.
I
Yeah.
make sure I schedule it in. Like it's
Yes.
it's part of my schedule
How often do you schedule that, Mel?
every day.
Once a day for 5 minutes?
If that's all I have, yeah. But I intentionally get up 15 minutes in the morning before I start my day. I have a room that I've dedicated to my self-care, and I go in there and I sit in front of the window and I just sit with myself for 15 minutes
What do
every
you do?
morning.
What do you do when you're sitting with yourself?
I'm doing breathing. I uh I do some breathing and I find my center and I listen to what is coming up for me. Maybe it could be something for them the night before or the day before, or and I just ask my higher power. I actually am talking with my higher power. I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so every morning, 15 minutes before you start your day,
Mm-hmm.
you have scheduled self intentional quality
Yeah.
time with self.
Yeah. And even if, and I'm going to preference this, so I hope hopefully my boss isn't listening, but even if I wake up late, that is the most important thing to me. And I've realized this, it's taken me 3 years to enforce this habit, but I now it has to happen or my day doesn't feel right if I don't do it.
I'll be honest, I hope your boss is listening because
Me too.
making yourself a priority is what we all need to do. Work is not a priority.
No.
Work is to pay the bills. Self is a
Yep.
priority.
Self
So
is a
Right.
priority.
do you other than those 15 minutes every morning scheduled, do you schedule any other time for
Yep.
self?
I every evening for an hour, I intentionally dedicate it to my healing.
Awesome. I think it's interesting that you do every morning. I also, every morning driving into work, I have a 10 to 15 minute intentional conversation with myself and my higher power. Um, for me, and this is just coming to my brain as we're sitting here talking right now, for me, believe that spending quality time with my higher power and having that conversation with my higher power is equivalent to spending quality time with myself.
Hmm.
I agree. I believe my higher power lives within me anyways. So, whenever I do this, I'm actually doing it for the both of us.
So, Dawn, do you have anything like that you do in the morning?
Well, I do, and I was actually going to ask you a question, Ashley, and not Mel. I'm not asking you this, but there's a reason I'm asking you this. I have found, Ash, that in my time in recovery, right, I'm 7.5 years into my recovery, right? Anyways, I think that's right. That I don't have to do it as intentional as I used to because it's become almost second nature now where I can take the time when I need to process something and I need to look at something, it can happen a lot faster. so I don't necessarily take the time in the morning to do this intentional, let me journal, let me this, let me that, right? I found that I take my mornings slower, meaning I used to be that person where I jump out of bed and just rush, 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 rush to get to work. And then that's how the whole day would go. This rush, 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 crazy feeling. What I do now is I kind of slowly do, like I wake up before the alarm, right? But I just lay there and I just relax and I just kind of prep my mind for the day. And then I slowly get up and I slowly do my things that I need to do. And then I get to work. And I don't punch a time clock. So if I get there at 9 or I get there at 8, it doesn't matter for me. Um, but where I do try to be more intentional is before I go to bed. Um, I have one of my biggest struggles always been is not sleeping well, so I do take medication to aid in sleep. And it really, what I found in my recovery was that was a great way to be able to have that conversation. And I say this almost every night is HP, I can't take all this stuff on my brain right now. I need you to take it so I can get a good night's sleep. And I can almost feel him taking it from me. It's like whether like I want him to or not, because the one thing I found in the being the intentional things that I would say is I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to, saying I'm going to turn this over to you right now. I would still hang on to something, a little piece of something. And if I have him, hey, I need you to take this from me because I need to get a good night's sleep, he's going to take it all. And so there's very much an intentional way I say it. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Do you find that it's a little bit different now that you don't have to take all that intentional time to,
It's definitely different. Um, it is different. So I don't have to take the intentional time purposely in order to get through the day.
right?
Right. I don't have to do that anymore because, like you were saying, having been in this in this position that we're working through for 4.5 years now, I find that in the moment I am responding better. I am taking my own
Hmm.
accountability. I am patient. Yes, in the moment, I all of those things you said. And for me, I do find that I still have to have the intentional conversation every morning. Um, because if I don't, I'm just not as aware of myself. So,
Hmm.
right, like my conversation as I drive into work is very much between it is a conversation with myself, and my higher power is there. And I talk to myself about who do I want to be today? How do I want to behave today? How do I want to handle situations today? It really has nothing to do with knowing what's going to happen through the day. It's really about, hi Ash, good morning. How do you feel today? I feel tired, I feel sick, I feel great, I feel happy, beautiful. How do I want to respond to situations that occur today? Well, I want to be kind, I want to be patient, I want to be loving. Or I
Hmm.
notice that I'm grumpy this morning, so maybe I don't have the energy to worry about being kind today. I just want to be a decent human being today. I don't want to take anybody's head off. I don't want to be rude. Right. So I just try to pay attention to who I am and how I want to be. And I try to have that every single morning conversation with myself about, good morning, Ash. How are you? How do you feel today? Who do you want to be today? I think
Love
I
that.
do that because it helps me. It just helps me stay more intentional with who
Hmm.
I am throughout the day.
My
Love that.
morning in that 15 minutes is more of a scan. It's like doing a body scan.
Hmm.
Mind, body, soul, where you at today? Okay, what should you be aware of? Okay, you're feeling a little off. Okay, well, we'll just have some awareness of this. We're not going to change it. If I need to have a little chaos going on in the middle of me or something, it needs to be there, right? It's for a purpose. It's just bringing in awareness, doing my breathing, It's just kind of a reset because God knows what I was doing in the dream world and what kind of chaos I was causing over there. So it's just I wake up in the morning, I just need to reset, drink a nice big cold glass of water, you know, that kind of stuff. Just
So
starts
we
my
all
day off different.
we all sound like we have our shit together, and I know that is not true.
No,
No, not at all.
not at
So,
all.
so I know I have hurdles, right? I have hurdles. I have things that get in the way of me creating and taking intentional quality time for myself. Um, I like to say life is life, life be lifing, life is lifing. Life gets in the way sometimes. Um, but what kind of hurdles do you guys see in being able to find that time, make that time?
It's funny you ask that because I am my biggest hurdle.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
get in the way, right? So the hurdles for me for making quality time and intentionally like taking time for myself. Oh, the dishes need to be done.
Yep.
Oh, I got bills to pay. Let me work overtime. Oh, my daughter's mad at me. Rather than sit with myself, let me go have a conversation with her to make her feel better. And it's not, a lot of times it's not other people saying, Ashley, I need you to do this. It's Ashley saying, Ashley, you need to do this. Ashley, your daughter is more important than yourself. Your job is more important than yourself.
Hmm.
Your responsibilities are more important than yourself. And that is one of the most difficult things for me to overcome. One of the most difficult hurdles every day is no, Ashley, going to work on time is not more important than having my conversation with myself. No, Ashley, making my daughter feel better is not more important than making sure that I am living within my intentional self. That for me is the biggest hurdle.
Mine used to be because I wasn't intentional before I started healing. I wasn't intentional at all. So I never got to really spend time with myself because I was running around people pleasing all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Before
I was putting
recovery,
everyone else's needs above my own. So, yeah,
for awareness,
yeah,
that was what it was.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I think what about and actually I 100% agree with what you're saying, right? I am my biggest hurdle. And I also have to reflect on where that hurdle came from. And as a child, was taught that taking time for myself was selfish, right? It was a
Yep.
bad thing. Um, oh, you're being selfish. And I was told that a lot as a child. Um, and so there was never there was that foundation of knowing that I can take space and that I can have my alone time and I can be able to do what I need to do to navigate through anything. Just wasn't. It wasn't fed. It wasn't fertilized. And it's interesting because first thing that popped into my head as I was saying that was, shit, I did that with Dylan. Like I did that with my oldest. There was never because I didn't know it was okay and it was a thing to be like, you can have your door close to your room and you can have your alone time. And you know what? I don't care that this is my house. I still have to respect you and your privacy, and I should knock first. Now, that doesn't mean, right, if I believe something's going on that I shouldn't be, I'm not saying that it's just a blanket statement. I can never enter my son's room, but I also want to be intentional about respecting his space. And I didn't do that with Dylan. Now with Colin, I definitely it's different. I can read his face. I can see he needs time. He needs his own space, and he goes in his room, and I just let him have it. Right? And I don't run in there to, are you okay? Are you okay? Let me, to that whole fix it thing. I know he's gonna go to his room and he's gonna because we've had these conversations and I've had these conversations enough. He's going to go to his room, and emotions can be be a lot for him. So he will go in his room, he will cry. No matter what, he's going to cry, and then he's going to come out and he'll be fine. And you okay? And he'll be like, yep. And I'm okay.
It's interesting that you say that because, yes, when I was a child, for me, it wasn't selfish, it was sensitive.
Mm,
Um, so it wasn't that I was selfish when I wanted to be alone because I never tried to be alone. I knew that wouldn't work. I had siblings and my parents the way they were. I shared a bedroom. I never tried to go in my bedroom and close the door. It was like I knew, I don't know, I just knew that wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed to take time for myself. But anytime that my feelings would get hurt, whether that be sad, scared, angry, any negative feeling that I felt, if I tried to share it, my parents would tell me, "You're just too sensitive. You're just taking everything personal and you're making it all about you and you're just too sensitive." And so I learned that my feelings were wrong. My feelings didn't matter. They were insignificant and I needed to turn them off and put them away. With my older two children, Don, just like you were saying, they weren't allowed to have their space. If they closed their
mhm.
door, I would go and open their door.
Yeah.
What do you need to be in your room for? Why do you need the door closed? What are you
What are you
trying to
doing in
do?
here?
Yes.
Hmm.
My youngest daughter, she's allowed to close her door as often as she wants. She goes in her room, she closes her door. Hell, she has a lock on her bedroom door. My oldest two kids never, God forbid, one of them had locked their doors. I would have taken the door off the hinges, right?
Yep.
And my youngest is allowed to have her feelings. With my oldest two, I used to do the same thing that my parents did. I tried to hear them and I would say stuff like, "Oh, I know you're sad, baby, but we didn't mean it that way."
Yeah.
Right? And it still would negate her feelings and teach her that she wasn't allowed to have her feelings, or my son, right? Like every time that he didn't respond in a negative way, he would just act like he didn't care. I'd be like, "Man, where'd you learn how to do that? I wish I could do that." Thinking it was a good, right? Like,
Yeah.
and now I look back on it like, dang, I really should have kind of guided him to get in touch with what he was feeling and not just turn the feelings off.
Yeah. Put those walls up.
Right. So it's kind of crazy. Until you mentioned that and you were talking about closing doors, I never realized how, like, my parents telling me that I was taking things too personal and I was too sensitive taught me to not believe in my emotions. It taught me to
Hmm.
to think my feelings were wrong. And I did that with my kids without realizing it. My oldest two for sure.
When we do that with the not letting them feel what they're feeling, right? Oh, you shouldn't be mad, right? And here's one of the I just this is something about thing I'm thinking of is just even food, right? Eating dinner time. You need to eat all your food because there are children starving in other countries. Well, children starving in other countries is a huge problem, right? I'm not discrediting that.
Without a doubt.
And, right? And my child being full is my child's.
My
My
child
child,
cleaning their plates is not going to prevent a child in Africa from starving.
exactly, right? And just those little itty bitty things that I would say, or right? Granted, I heard them as a child as well growing up. So of course I, emanated those things in with Dylan. But yeah, it's like just that unrational, like comment. Like, really think about it. How is that related to this? Because those kids have nothing in their stomach. My kid can never be full. Like, and I think that's one of those things that I can look at differently now, right? It comes and just going on a little bit of squirrel over here, right? It comes out about the choice of words and being more intentional and thinking about the things I say and what they really, really mean and how they correlate to what I'm trying to express. Why can't I just say, "Oh, you're full? Okay. Well, we'll save your dinner. I'll pack it up in the refrigerator, and if you get hungry later, there it is." right? That nothing says food has to be wasted.
So those are reasons that Dawn and I realize now that we struggled to spend intentional quality time with ourselves. Mel, do you have anything that you can pinpoint?
Yeah. When I was growing up, I had a mom that used to leave a lot and like leave me alone a lot for days, months. And I didn't like spending alone time with myself as a kid. It was kind of forced upon me. When I got a boyfriend or something like, or someone to spend time with, I wanted to spend all my time with them because being alone didn't feel good as a child. It was very lonesome. It was very isolating. I didn't understand why my parent didn't want to spend time with me and stuff like that. So, when I did find someone that wanted to spend time with me, I used to want to spend all my time with them. So, learning to spend time with myself, it took a long 5 years ago when I found a way to spending time with myself, which was comforting. It wasn't so, it didn't feel comforting to spend time with myself. It felt very isolating and sad, actually.
I think that's really, really important to note because Mel, I agree so much with that statement. When I first started spending intentional quality time with myself, whether it be having conversations with myself or trying to figure out a hobby that I liked, that I wanted to do, that had no outside influence. It was just something that appealed to me. That was freaking hard. It was isolating. It was stressful. At the beginning, I felt like a failure because I didn't enjoy being alone with myself. Like in the beginning, when I first started this journey 4.5 years ago of learning to love the self, building a relationship with myself, boy, it was hard. It was I almost gave up a thousand times, 1,001. You know what I mean? Like, hell, there's still 4.5 years into it with plenty of experience under my belt. There's still days where I don't want to spend time with myself.
Hmm.
It, 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 it has taken a very, very long time, and it is still taking time. I am not my own best friend yet, right? Like if I think about my relationship with my best friend, I know that she will be there for me. I know that if I pick up the phone, she will show up. I know I will be there for her. It doesn't matter if it's 2 in the morning, if it's $1 million, if it's killing somebody. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I know that my best friend, she has proven it to me over 20 years of friendship. I know she will be there for me. When I think about my relationship with myself, I am my own friend. I am my friend now. And I wasn't for a really long time. I was my own abuser for a really long time. Now I am my own friend. I am not yet at the level of being my own best friend.
You know, something for me, and I'm thinking about this now with my girlfriends and just my with with the people in my life. I don't have a best friend because I'm my best friend, right? Like I don't even like that terminology, my best friend. Because if I put that, when I say that and I put it externally, it kind of feels yucky. Because shouldn't I need to be my best friend. I am my best friend. Because if again, just the words, best friend. So who should be the best person for me? Me. So I need to be my best friend. People outside of me, right? They can be close, they can be my sisters, they can be my right, they can be a place that is fun and safe and amazing. And I'm the best person for me. My higher power is the best thing for me. And I don't know, I just That popped my head.
So when you look at your current situation, Dawn, when you look at your
Hmm.
life currently today and how
Yep.
you respond to others and to yourself and to situations when life does what life does, would you say that as you evaluate it now, you are currently your own best friend?
Yes.
Good. Good. Maybe in
Yes.
another 3 or 4 years of awareness, I'll get there.
Yeah.
I
And I
wish I
think,
was there, right? I wish that when I look truly at myself, I could say, I am my own best friend. And I am working towards getting there. But when I truly look at how I have treated myself throughout
hmm
my lifetime and how much I trust myself, I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I'm definitely improving. 10 years ago, I was my own worst enemy versus
right.
now, I am my own friend, but I would not say yet I am what society labels a best friend, right? You think of someone that's always there for you, reliable 100% of the time, right? I'm not that person for myself yet. I'm working on it though.
I think
It's interesting because I've always been my best friend and I've been my worst enemy, right? Because if I think about what you just described as a best friend, someone that always should be there for myself, for me, someone that always would show up for me. What other thing did you say about a best friend?
Reliable.
Reliable, right?
trustworthy.
Trustworthy, right? I've always been doing that. The difference is I wasn't doing all of those in a healthy way, but I was still doing them. I didn't realize there was a different way to approach it until I began my journey of awareness and self-love. And
I was just going to say I abandoned myself all the time. I was not my own best friend for a really long time. I didn't know how to be.
I think what it is, I think maybe I'm looking at look when I look back at it now with a healthier mindset, part of the thing that I realize when I look at who was the constant in my life was me. Right? I was showing up for myself in the best way I could show up for myself then. Right? I was being the most trustworthy version of myself because that's because what I knew, right? It's kind of using all those things and saying from a place of where I was then. So I don't want to discredit myself and just saying blanketly, I was my worst enemy, I was this, because I was my best friend.
I get
I
what you're saying.
just, yeah, I just was I was just doing the best I could at that moment to be my best friend, the best version of me. And now I have a different way of doing it and it looks different. And I hope in 10 years from now or 8 years from now, it'll look completely different then too. That's for me, that's the best I can, that's the best I can hope for is I'm just going to continually getting better and better and better and better. And yeah. So anyways, that's
It's kind of like saying I only know what I know and I can't know what I don't know.
yeah.
I think for myself, before I knew recovery or healing and self-help and all the good stuff, like before I had an awareness that that was out there, spending talking to myself was very different than it is now. Like talking to myself was just pointing out a lot of my flaws, a lot of the things I didn't like about myself, a lot of my yucky stuff. And really, I didn't have a lot of self-compassion whatsoever for myself.
Yeah.
So why would I want to spend time with myself if that's how I felt about myself?
We've talked a lot about what prevents us, what prevented us from knowing ourselves. Is there anything that you either of you would say today that is a hurdle for your relationship with yourself? Not so much in the past before awareness, but like even now, even today with awareness. Like I know for me, my emotions get in the way of intentional quality time. If something happens and I don't know, talking about going to court with my ex, right? On the day of court, I struggle to have intentional quality time with myself because I'm stressed out, wrapped up in the situation.
Yeah, I think it would be an external situation that would that sometimes prevents me if I'm too emotionally invested in it, that I don't have a level of detachment that, yeah, it can affect my time with myself.
It's I can't say it's one thing. Like I think for me, what it where I if it's one thing, right, it feels lighter. So it's easier to be able to still have that time with myself. But when life is lifing, right, it's like I just wish life would just say, here, you deal with this one thing today for the next 2 weeks, and I won't bother you until you've dealt with that, and then I'll give you something else. No, no, no. My higher power up there laughing and playing chess with my life is like, okay, let's dump as much as we can on you this right now, and you figure it out. I know I don't have to do it alone. I believe it's a test in he's testing me as well of do what is our relationship and can I ask for what I need and ask for help and be able to compartmentalize to be able to know what needs to be handled first, second, and third, right? Um, so I think it's more when there's a lot on my plate, a lot on my mind, when I'm struggling and I'm allowing it to be a lot, that's my hurdle now versus some again, it goes back to me being my biggest hurdle. Um, that is again where I struggle. So it looks different, but I also or it looks the same, but I think what's different in it is my understanding of my higher power and how like just life is being lifing that I can understand what is happening. I can understand, maybe I don't understand why, but I can understand what is happening. And I can know, okay, Dawn, this is your MO. This is right. It's too much. You're gonna tell yourself the stories. You're gonna feel all the things. So what do you need to do? Right? It's connecting with myself. It's dealing with the like taking each one of the things that might be overwhelming in this moment and saying, all right, can I do anything with this? One of the things that, life was lifing this last month, and one of the things I was dealing with, right, was my mother, and we've talked about that, that relationship, and my mother is getting older. She's going to be 80, and she is still very much a codependent. I feel like sometimes she's going backwards instead of going forwards, and that's okay too. It's her journey. And I also know that I can't just abandon her when she's struggling. I don't want to, right? I can make sure, and I can't abandon her, but I also, because right, that's me taking the power, but I also know my mother doesn't have it in her right now. Like she's, so I feel like I have to show up. Like I want to show
You
up.
want to.
Yeah, I
I,
want to be there for her and not, because I think the thing is, I want I want to be different with her too. I want to be different than what she did with me.
I think it's important for us to realize, especially when we're talking about intentional quality time with self, it's important for us to separate that I have to versus I
Yeah.
want to, right? Like there's every day that I'm telling, oh, I have to go to work. I have to raise my kids. I have to cook dinner. And when I tell myself I have to, I get what's the word? I get belligerent or
Yeah.
like I push back like I don't have to. I don't want to have to do anything. I don't have you're not the boss of me. But if I have a conversation with myself where I spend that time with myself and I figure out no, I don't have to. I could walk away. I could not support my mother. I could not be friends with my mother. I could not talk to my mother. And I don't want to do that. I
Right.
want to support my mother. I want to be here for my mother. I want to have a relationship with my mother. How do I want that to look?
Right.
For
And
me,
it,
I do so much better when I spend that time with myself to have that conversation.
yeah. And I think it's right. I can still want to do those things, want to spend time with her, want to be different for her. And I also know when it's the best for me and when it's good for me and it's when it's not good for me. Um,
Yes.
And there's the, I think there's the difference again. It's just knowing, okay, ooh, this doesn't feel good today. I'm not like, right? It's like almost like, let me dip my mother in my feelings to like where, and I'm saying this like I'm gonna dip her in to see to test to test how she's gonna make me feel. And nope, today's not the day. Let me put her aside because ooh, no, that was that was like my acid was going. Um,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, oof. Um, and then there's days I can grab her and I can test the waters and I'm like, okay, I'm in the mental space today that okay, I can engage and I can interact with her and it'll be okay.
That
I'm in a good place. Go ahead. Yeah.
that is one of the ways you spend intentional quality time with yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Take this thought of a person and the idea about the person and ask myself if I am ready to handle this today, if this is good for me today, or if I need to focus other places. And then listen to what my body says. That is a
Hmm.
hell of a way to create intentional quality time with yourself. Just having an intentional conversation where I ask myself questions and I listen for my own answer.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
is for me, I'm very much of that visual person. So when I'm saying like I feel like I'm dipping her into me to see how my body's going to react, it's actually kind of what I'm doing. And
You're doing a
yeah,
litmus test. It's a
yeah.
litmus test.
It is.
Is it alkaline or acid today?
Yeah, that's so funny. That is
That's great.
true.
So, what other ways do we go about creating intentional quality time? Like, what does that mean to actually create intentional quality time with ourselves? I know for me, it, I've mentioned this a couple times, but for me at this point, it is really having conversations with myself, like putting this time aside every day, and I'm going to go for this walk and I'm going to talk to myself. Or one of the things I really like to do is to light candles and do some meditation outside. So I know there's a full moon coming up this night. I'm going to take these candles, I'm going to set them up around this fire pit, I'm going to light this fire, and I'm going to sit here and meditate. That
Hmm.
is creating intentional quality time.
I think it's just being creative. You have to find what brings you joy and just do it.
It could be something as simple as jumping in a hot tub,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? It could be something as simple as writing a letter to myself.
My girlfriend, she swears by this. She does it every night after work. She has a very high stressful job and she colors. She
Yeah,
colors. She's got an adult coloring book. She went out and spent $400 on these expensive markers, and this is her joy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like to write. I write.
It's
What do you
funny you
guys
said
do?
that, Mel. Writing was one of, so I don't do it anymore. Maybe I'm going to go back to it. I've been thinking a lot about it. One of the things I did before I found Codependence Anonymous and before I found the 12 steps, it just came to me one day. I would just write, but I wouldn't write to anyone. I would just write a letter, and whatever came to me, I would say in that letter. And then I would take that letter and I would just put it somewhere, a shelf in the grocery store, the McDonald's counter, the book. We here in North Carolina, we have these little book things that you free
Mhm.
libraries, and I
Yep,
used to
on the
go and put a
corners
letter
or
in the free library.
Hmm.
And just this knowledge that whoever that letter was meant for would open it up and read it, and it would make a difference in their life. And just the knowledge that sharing that letter that came from my heart made a difference in my life. That was a way that I spent quality time with myself.
Hmm.
I love that.
What do you
I
do,
think
Dawn?
I think I want to first talk about there's a difference for what I do now and what I did early in my awareness journey.
Yes.
They look very different. Very different, but very similar. But when I started, like, I didn't know myself. I didn't know, I couldn't tell you, oh, you're feeling this, or oh, you're feeling that. So one of the earliest things that I started doing at the suggestion of a therapist, and Mel, you noted it, but a body scan, right, is let me do a body scan from head to toe, realize that my feet, connecting my feet to the ground, feeling the energy run through my center to the ground and connecting, and then being able to do that scan and not a let me start at my toes and work up both my legs, but it was a start at my toes and work up one leg and then had that half from then to my arm and then come back in from my arm and up to my head. Or you know what I mean? Like there was very intentional circling of my body. And then when I did that, right, then I was able to understand my feelings, meaning I can tell you when I carry stress on my shoulders. And you know it's so funny because I used to when I was married to my ex-husband, every single night I would have him like rub where Ashley nobody else can see, but Ashley's like holding her like I don't know what that's called in the
It's
crook of
right
your neck
behind
or
my
your shoulder.
collarbone. Yeah, right behind your
Yes.
collarbone where your shoulder meets your neck. It's where I hold
Yep.
my stress too.
Yep. And it would get so tight. And I would have him rub that out every single day. And to the point sometimes I would be bruised because I needed him to get in there. And it's interesting because once I started doing body scans, I never have those like headache, neck pains unless I've sat some weird way. And it shows you that that right that depending on what's in your life and what's going on in your life, you it can be it's definitely caused by that and it can be let go and that's what happened. I know that when I'm hurting, I'm resentful, I'm scared, right? It's in that the middle of my back and my center, right? And those are the things that I've understanding that and looking at it helped me be able to develop that relationship with myself because now instead of having to consciously think, okay, what's going on? Why am I doing this? Right? I can just go to my body and be like, oh, okay, I know what you're feeling. I know what that is. And I think that was a huge thing for me early on.
Me too, it
Um,
was.
yeah, I think it's really important. And you can find those on, well, hell, you can find them everywhere.
Just
YouTube,
Google how to body
Spotify,
scan.
right? Exactly. And I that's how I started meditating because I couldn't meditate like a traditional, just sit there in silence because my brain was just like, it just wouldn't relax. And so for me, doing that body scan helped me learn to train my brain to be able to let go of outside stuff. Um, because as long as I was focused on me, then I'm right, I'm doing this right. And so it just kind of revamped my mind to be able to be,
Reprogrammed.
yeah, reprogrammed my mind to be able to look within. And then now I can sit and I can meditate. I don't have to as much. Do you guys find that as well? I don't have to as much
I
because
Oh, I
it
meditate
seems
love
so much
all
it.
the
quicker.
time.
Oh,
I
I love
love
it.
I agree with you, Mel. I meditate every single day. I love
Yeah, I
meditating.
love it.
Sometimes I use guided meditation. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's no guided, no noise. I just sit and meditate. Like that has been, I was never good at meditating. I started out exactly like you did, Dawn. And
So
then
did I.
even that wasn't enough, right? Like I would try to do body scans and my whole brain would get wonky. So I ended up having to start with a guided meditation. And I would
Hmm.
turn it up in like I had noise canceling ear things that had eye mask. And I would have to turn it all the way up so I couldn't hear anything else. And the talking took over my brain. And then as I did that more and more, I became able to do the body scans. And then I became able to do meditation without assistance. And now that I love to meditate. I every single day, 15 minutes minimum, I sit in silence anytime I can and just meditate. I mean, not every single day. I don't have enough time every day if I'm realistic with it, but I try.
I want a little clarification on your guys' meditation. Because I think, anyways, I'm not going to say that. What is it when you say meditation? What does it look like? What are you doing? What is your body doing? Where are you sitting? Like all of that.
Um, oh, for myself, in the summertime, I'm usually outside. Um, it's very intentional for me. So I have specific, whatever I think I need to work on, I have specific incense and stuff that I use. The color of candles means a lot to me too. If I also have candles too, so I figure out where I'm kind of blocked. So I'll burn that candle and intentionally want to unblock something in myself. I pray first. That's the other thing before meditation for me is I speak or I write or I pray, and then the meditation is the listening. So sometimes it is guided, um, but sometimes it's just sitting there and I just listen. And I get lots of
So,
messages.
For
So it's a
me,
conversation with my higher power, but
so
I
for
I'm
want to
me,
ask
listening.
Mel real quick.
Oh yeah.
oh,
I
Yeah.
have one question for Mel real quick. So
Okay.
you're outside?
Sometimes I'm just lying down in my bed. Sometimes at work, if I feel like, I don't feel right in my body, I'll go find a quiet room that's not being used. They're very dark. The ultrasound rooms are really dark. So I'll just go in there and sit for like even 5 minutes just to center myself. But intentional meditation, it can be anywhere.
Okay.
It's just going inward.
Okay.
so for
So when
me,
you're doing that,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I'm sorry, Ash, I
I
keep
thought I
interrupting you.
thought
I'm
that was your
sorry.
question. You're good. I thought
No,
that was your
Okay.
question. Go
no,
ahead.
I'm probably going to ask you the same. It's like 'cause they're very similar questions, but I want to really understand this. So Mel, what's going through your head when you are doing this?
Well, when I'm doing the actual meditation, not too
Yeah.
much because I've gotten it out verbally writing first. So it's really important to get it out of me. Whatever it is, get it out, get the energy out, or know that the energy is there, and then listen. So meditation for me is listening. Praying is talking.
Ash, go ahead. Sorry.
So
I was
for
kept cutting you
me,
off.
no, you're good. Very, very similar to what Mel was saying. Sometimes I go outside and I meditate. Sometimes I sit on the couch. Sometimes I sit on the bed. Sometimes I'll sit on the floor. Sometimes I'll go out to my car. Um, for me, the beginning of meditation is very similar. Again, like Mel said, I got to get it out. So I can't write anymore very well because of my hands and
Hmm.
my arthritis. So I will
Right.
talk it. I will say everything. I will spew it all out there, and then I just sit and I listen. And I listen so that I can hear not my thoughts, right? Because I'm not thinking. And if I start to think about stuff, then I'm like, okay, that's a thought. Let's let that thought go and bring myself back to just sitting. And I just sit and listen.
Breathing too. You
Okay.
breathe.
Yes.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So taking that, what you both are saying into consideration, right? I guess maybe I don't classify it as meditation. I guess maybe it's more of a terminology thing for me. Um, for me, it's going out in the middle of the day. I am a sun person. I love the 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 feeling of going outside, and I live in Florida, so the hug, the
The
sun, this
warmth,
out, it get just it's like that hug and that just like I
nothing
feel like
better
my
than
higher.
stepping out and
Oh,
feeling it just hit you in and you can just feel the sun soak into your body.
oh, and it's
Yes.
like it just like the universe is wrapping its arms around me and just hugging me, and then just to be able to, because I do love the sounds. Like for me, I think it's to
That
sit
sounds
in
like
my,
meditation to me.
it is, I think, and I know it is. I know it is. I should not say I know it. I know it is, but I can't do it in the house because in the house I am now connected to everything that I need to do. And it's almost like I need to take my body out of that. And so it's become my dog and my thing. Like every day we go outside, middle of the day, right? And he is the sun. He loves to sit in the sun, and it's not too hot for him. Um, Grab my chair and I just go sit in the grass in the sun and let it, you know, and then I can turn everything off because I can, and then I just listen to the sounds, and I love to hear the like wind blow, like the
That is so meditation,
That
Dawn.
is so meditation. Yeah. I'm the opposite. I love the moon. So how you feel about the sun, Dawn, I get my energy from the moon.
I love them both.
I do too. But the
I
sun
do.
for me, the moon for me is where my pull is. That's where I go to.
It's so
yeah.
interesting to hear you guys say that because I feel I like Dawn, the way you describe the sun and stepping outside and just the hug from the universe. I feel
Feel
that.
that.
I will go out into the sun and lean back and just close my eyes and just allow my body to absorb the sun. And for
Mm-hmm.
the moon, it pulls me to it.
Mm-hmm.
Come interact with me. Come and play. Come and participate. Come and feel this. And like the sun for me, the sun and the daytime is like a here, feel this warmth and relax. And the moon for me is like it's a pull.
Feel.
Come
It's
and
a
play.
feel. It's come and
Yeah.
feel. Yeah. I'm the opposite. For the sun, it's more come and play. For the moon, it's come and feel. Come in and release. Come and let go. And the sun
So
for me is very it empowers me differently than the moon.
They are both very
I,
powerfully different.
Yes. Very
yeah,
powerfully different.
here's the way I don't look at the play and the like the come play, the relax. So for me, the sun is very much of a skin, like a skin, it's kissing my skin, right? I take it in through my skin. Um, I wish everybody could see me. I'm over here rubbing myself and
She
And I'm over
is.
um
here shaking my head like, yes,
And we're
uh-huh,
all
yes.
and we're all
we
in
are going
agreement.
we are going to work towards actually being on video soon to do these podcasts because we're all so very anyways. Um, so I feel that's what I feel in the sun. And then also I can hear it when I'm in the sun during the day, right? It's my sensory is my touch, and sensory is key in my ears. Where I take the night in is in my eyes.
Mm.
To look up, and I live just outside of this I mean I live in Tampa Bay, so like right you'd call the whole thing a city, but it's not. Right? Tampa is a very small city. But I can get I love to take in the stars. I love to take in the how small I am in the great. That's what night brings for me is how small I am in this grand scheme of things. Because of the way the stars are and the way the moon is and right the sunset and the colors. Um, so for me, nighttime is more of a visual thing than it is an auditory or an so yeah, it's like I've and again, right, that's work. That's like that is awareness of who I am and how I interact with these different things. Um, right, it takes a lot of work to be able to get to that point to know that oh, the sun touches my skin and it's the during the day it's a sounds. At night it's I see it through my eyes. Right,
I
it's
think
it
I also feel that when we get to know these things, what we like to do with ourselves, I think that's when we get to start to explore ourselves more as who we really truly are, like what we value, what we believe in.
Yeah,
And we just try to, I think that's where the growth comes, is that time with yourself without having distraction and just learning what makes you tick.
yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I having that awareness is, I think, what pushes us to the point of spending quality time with ourselves, right? Like I could be doing the exact same thing without knowing that I'm feeling the sun on my skin or that I'm taking the night into my eyes and I'm looking at the stars and the moon, but I'm not feeling anything.
Hmm.
So I think
Mm,
having that awareness is what changes it from just spending time with myself to spending intentional quality time, like actually connecting with myself.
Yeah.
yeah. So then once we've talked about how do we create intentional time? Um, and we've talked about a few things that we do can use to connect with ourselves, but what are some other ones? And especially I want to talk to for the new people that are early on in their awareness and growth journey of right, we're talking especially from a more experienced standpoint, so that's very important for others out there that are further along. But what about if you're new to this? What are ways you can use to just start connecting with yourself?
Go for a walk.
That was going to be my first suggestion. Go for a walk by yourself, maybe with your pet, but without another human being. Um, Go and sit alone. Spend one-on-one time with yourself.
Um, one of the ways that I got to know myself was through I just started a self-help book. I found one that was kind of speaking to me,
Yeah.
and I picked it up, and it came with like questions and stuff like that, and I just would read the chapter, answer the questions, and I got to know things about myself that way. It started the
Hmm.
journal habit.
Yeah. Find a good podcast. Like work
Find
it,
a
you're worth it.
this is where I started.
Yeah,
Find a good
yeah,
podcast.
Find a good podcast
um,
and actually take in what is being said.
Yeah.
yeah. Go do something for yourself, meaning, right, take yourself to dinner. Go to a movie by yourself, right? It doesn't have to be so heavy that I need to pick up a book, which I believe is 100% important. And I also can be realistic to say, not everybody is at a point where they're ready to pick up a book and answer questions. But I think we have to refine that power within us and the strength that's there. And so maybe it's just something as simple as I'm going to go have a cup of coffee on a Saturday morning by myself and see what happens. When I started my journey, I actually had to my when I seeing my therapist, and this was after, I had been through a lot of shit, and she's like, "Hey, I want you, when are you going to take a medical leave or mental leave? You need to take a mental leave. You need to take a mental leave." And I was like, "No, I don't. No, I don't." Until I about told my boss off one day, and then I walked into her office. I'm like, "Hey." But I took that mental leave, and what I did with that time was that's when I really started picking up books. But I didn't like I my job became my growth and my awareness, but I got out of the house. Right? I can stay within these walls and do all the work.
Yeah, I think staying within the same walls is it's not necessarily for everyone, but certainly going outside of what I'm used to and where my normal situation is important for sure. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I think I froze.
You're
Um,
okay. I picked you up.
you did. You
I
did.
did.
Um,
So, what are the benefits of cultivating and creating this awareness and this intentional self time?
I think you get to know yourself. I think there's not, uh, I don't think there's a bigger gift that you can give yourself than getting to know yourself.
um, I found my inner power. I found my power. I found my strength. I found that, wow, I can be everything I need for myself. I found happiness. I found peace. I found space in this universe for me. I found what was truly missing in my life.
I found love and respect for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something that I never like I thought I loved myself.
Yeah,
I
right.
knew I had earned and deserved respect, and I knew that I was a quote unquote good person, but I never had the awareness to actually have love and respect for myself. And that was huge. I found that.
So we've talked today a lot about cultivating or cultivating intentional quality time, what that looks like. So we've discussed what it is. We've discussed the hurdles and what does it mean to create intentional quality time. In other words, how you do it, how we've done it, and ways to connect yourself and the benefits. Right, and I think just to sum up the benefits part of it, it's right. It's not the benefits for everybody else. It's the benefits for me. What because if I need to look at the benefits and how that impacts me because that's the benefits. It's what I get out of this, not what everybody else gets out of this.
I mean, the reality with it is, as I treat myself better and as I build this relationship with myself, I treat other people
Yeah,
better also.
That is
And
so true.
it can't, like, treating other people better can't be the intention behind
right.
spending quality time with myself.
And that's why we keep using the word intentional because it has to be intentional.
And I think too that when you see other people that don't spend really good intentional quality time with themselves and they don't have a relationship with themselves, it does show.
Oh
But
yeah.
but for someone that does, there's an understanding that they just haven't discovered this yet.
Yeah,
And I feel that I'm more empathetic to those people. Like
for
I'm like,
sure.
"Oh, it
Mhm.
sucks that you just don't do this. I wish you did, because you'd be so much happier."
I'm more
You know?
compassionate with them.
Yeah, I'm more
Yeah.
compassionate. I
Yep.
feel bad for them. It's not pity, it's just, oh, you're missing out on something
Mhm.
so great.
So yes, thank you for today's conversation.
Thank
Next
you.
week we're going to be talking about intentional communication with self, which is a big one. Um, so yeah, I can't wait for next week. Ash, Mel, thank you for the conversation today. Um, I love how we kind of just looked at this and kind of sliced and diced it to understand what others are doing in their and time and creating time for themselves. Yeah, that.
Absolutely. And this has been such another wonderful recording. I enjoy doing this with you ladies every
Yep,
single week. Thank you so much. And I look forward to next week.
me too.
Okay.
All right, bye.
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 We would like to thank you for joining us on this journey of self discovery. Visit the Work It website at workitYouAreWorthIt.com to submit your questions and topics for future episodes. And remember, work it because you are worth it.